Hi, I'm Town Manager Eric Peterson, and I want to provide an update of the Town Board meeting from this past Monday, January 14, 2013. So the board covered several issues on Monday night. One of the first ones was they received an update on the downtown access and pedestrian improvement project. And a couple things, it's a partnership between the town, North Carolina DOT, and Orange County are working together to make a wide variety of improvements in downtown Sherton Street. So the board got preliminary budget estimates on a variety of the different components that are going to be in the proposed project. So they're going to have to decide what they want in. Like most projects, it's more costly than there's funding available for. So some of the things that are involved are widening the sidewalks in a section on Sherton Street, starting where Banditos is and working your way north on that side of the street, going up past the Saratoga Grill and Antonio's and the Wooden Nickel, all the way past the Town Hall Annex right up there at Sherton Street. So that's the side we're talking about. So intermittently, sections of the sidewalk will be widened. It'll make pedestrian access a lot easier, and it'll expand opportunities for either sidewalk dining or for merchants to get their presence out there. So it should add to the vibrancy of downtown. Also, they're going to add a bus pullout right in front of the Town Hall Annex, which is where the finance department is. So the circulator route or the route that comes over from Chapel Hill will be able to pull off. It won't tie traffic up so much, and it'll make it easier for folks to get in and out of there. In addition, there's a variety of pedestrian crosswalks that'll come in at each of the intersections on Sherton downtown, which is there at Margaret and King and then Tryon. They'll use textured and colored intersections. If you imagine the intersection, it'll sort of like being drawn a box around it. It'll improve the safety, slow folks down, and just be a lot more aesthetically appealing down there. Some of the other crosswalks that are going to go in will be mid-block crosswalks. Be one right sort of there in the heart of downtown, right there sort of where Callaway Jewelry, the Brick Alley, and the Bank of America, somewhere in that area, mid-block, since a lot of folks, try to cross that way. And so it'll be a big safety issue and hopefully make it easier for development to take place on the other side of the street as well. A couple of the other crosswalks are on West King Street, sort of in the dual supply Cup of Joe area, then down on West Margaret Lane, right there by the library. So just trying to do that. Some other improvements that'll take place on the project would be, while they're doing it sort of underground that you won't see, is duct banking, which is basically conduit or PVC pipe that'll be in the ground. So whether it's putting electric lines or utilities or other types of things in the future, it'll make it a lot easier and cheaper, and then you won't have to rip up all the new sidewalk that's been put in. Wheelchair ramps, improvements in those areas to help with accessibility. DOT, after they push the sidewalks out and everything, would also come and repave those sections of Sherton Street downtown, which would be nice. Also some landscaping, and we've also got estimates on reconfiguring the Bank of America parking lot kind of behind all the buildings, because anybody who's been back there, it's a very unique traffic flow and not the most efficient. So that's also included in there. So the total estimate on all of those items is about $464,000. We're really lucky the DOT has agreed to fund $250,000 of those. For this year. We're hoping maybe funds will be available in another future year so we can get more of these projects done. So basically in the next month, the town board has to decide how much they want to fund from a priority standpoint, how much can we kick in financially, so that will be ongoing discussion. A couple other things they asked staff to look into was some cost estimates on like enhanced landscaping, putting benches downtown so folks can sit down, some more trash cans, and then also newspaper management, the bins that you worry about proliferating and sort of cluttering up an area. They want to look at having a couple locations where you concentrate these. The town would provide nice aesthetically looking structures so they can go in there and make it easier and nicer. The other thing they asked for was also estimates on additional pedestrian crosswalks going north of downtown on Sherton, which would be like Queen, Union, Orange, and Corbin Street. So we're going to look at cost estimates on a planning. So even if we can't afford them now, we'll know what they can cost and figure out how to pay for it going forward. And the last component with where Orange County comes in the partnership is Orange County staff has been looking at the possibility of trying to extend that sidewalk by the courthouse and going south on Churton Street down towards N&K Street, the stoplight that's right there by Weaver Street Market, which will make it a lot easier for folks who are using the parking deck, using the county facilities. They'll have a safe place to cross and work on the sidewalk, so we know they're working on that as well. So that was sort of everything that was talked about as far as the pedestrian improvement project goes. Next topic was train station planning process. Back at the December meeting, the town board directed staff, hey, we want you to go ahead and start making arrangements to do some of the conceptual planning that's necessary to take the next step forward on the station. So our planning staff went back and started working on the planning on how to make this happen. And with all the other projects they've got going on, Riverwalk, the streetscape that we just talked about, the Vision 2030, which is starting next week, and just other things, they asked the board if we could delay work on that until July, just to make sure we don't rush, we don't make mistakes. And one of the side benefits of waiting until July, another 5 months, is that it increases the window of opportunity maybe for a public-private partnership to come in. And train stations and other developments have occurred in the past where we're lucky that we own 20 acres of land right there at the train station. So a developer might come in and could make a proposal and say, for example, in exchange for getting some or all of this land, we would build or pay for a large portion of the train station. And since we've been waiting on federal funding, which may or may not come for the project, some time that's a possibility, not just with the acreage there, but with other undeveloped land, something could emerge. The executive director from the Friends of the Mountains to Sea Trail came and talked to the board and basically asked the board to adopt the resolution supporting this 150-mile leg of the Mountains to Sea Trail that would go from Hillsborough to Clayton. And really this thing that was exciting and surprising was that there's only 2 pieces of property missing between Hillsborough and Clayton on the Riverwalk leg, and they're both in Orange County. So the Friends of Mountains to Sea Trail are working on getting voluntary agreements over the next couple of years to secure those legs. And it works out great because we'll start work on our section of Riverwalk here probably later in the summer, and hopefully have that completed by probably by fall of 2014. So one thing that I learned that was new was that out of the 1,000-mile section of the Mountains to Sea Trail, like 530 miles of it is already open for hiking, and people are using it, including like Falls Lake and Durham and parts of Wake County. So it's exciting that Hillsborough is playing such a key role on that, and in a couple of years we'll have that. And one other update on the Riverwalk, the town closed on the Phase 3 property. So in that section, what that'll mean is in the next few years, hopefully, you'll be able to walk from the Occoneechee Speedway all the way to Occoneechee Mountain, all the way through downtown. So once we get this next section built, which will end in Cameron Street, then we'll work with the Mountains to Sea Trail folks to see about making the connection street from Cameron Street going all the way to the Speedway and opening those trails up and everything. So that's fun and exciting. Good for Hillsborough. All right, the board talked about fracking, hydraulic fracturing. They talked about it a few months ago, and they asked the town attorney for an update on it, and we're considering adopting a resolution. What the attorney told the board is that local governments, towns and counties, have very limited ability to stop or regulate fracking as it is. So the board decided not to adopt the resolution since it really wouldn't have a lot of teeth in it. Some good news is that like the geological area that we're in, I believe it's called the Triassic region, is just not very good for fracking. So that's good for Hillsborough, since it shouldn't happen very close to us. But they asked the town attorney to monitor it the situation since this upcoming session of the General Assembly in Raleigh. There may be some laws or whatever that'll take place. And I just read in the newspaper this morning there's a committee that met yesterday down in Sanford, statewide committee, talking about what types of authority local governments should have on fracking. So we'll keep a close eye on that and just continue to monitor that.